Hey, what's up, people? Gen Xer here, progressive. Actually got an article from The Intercept here. It's pretty good, too. It's Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders wants Congress to end U.S. support for Yemen war. A bipartisan group of senators unveiled legislation on Wednesday designed to end the U.S. support for Saudi-led war in Yemen. The resolution included by Senators Bernie Sanders, Independent from Vermont, Chris Murphy, Democrat from Connecticut, and Mike Lee from Utah, Republican. Attempts to use the War Powers Act of 1973, a Vietnam War era law that limits the president's power to wage war without congressional authorization, to disentangle the U.S. from the campaign that has claimed thousands of civilian lives and led to mass starvation. So this tells you, I mean, they bombing them so badly they can't even get like humanitarian supplies to the area. This is awful. U.S. military currently provides vital support to the Saudi-led incursion into Yemen. Saudi Arabia began its bombing campaign in March 2015. Obviously started under Obama, accelerated under Trump, aiming to restore Yemen's former Saudi-backed president Abdul Rabu Mansur Hadi to power. Hadi was deposed in 2014 by Zaidi Shiite rebel group commonly known as the Houthis. The U.S. has supported the campaign for almost 3 years, providing targeted intelligence, weapons, and mid-air refueling support for Saudi warplanes. But neither the Obama administration nor the Trump administration has publicly outlined the legal basis for the U.S. role in the conflict, as with most of our conflict. I think when have they ever gotten a declaration of war? For most of these interventions that they've done. Just saying. The resolution will be introduced in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, but under the Senate rules, the sponsors can force a vote on the floor after 10 days. The resolution will likely face stiff opposition from the Trump administration, which has held classified briefings in support of U.S. backing for the Saudi bombing campaign. And even if it passes, the administration may question the Congress' power to compel the military to end its role in the war, which I'm not going to say anything that I don't know about yet, but it is likely to probably challenge it, I'm sure. That they make money off this stuff. This isn't the first time Congress has challenged the executive branch over the rationale for taking part in the war. In April, when the Trump administration was considered an increased and more direct role in the conflict, a bipartisan group of 55 members of Congress signed a letter urging the Trump administration to explain its legal justification. A Democratic House aide told The Intercept that members of Congress have not received a response from the administration. Neither President Trump nor Attorney General Jeff Sessions provide a legal and constitutional argument for the U.S. participation in the disastrous Saudi-led war against Yemen's Houthis. So yeah, again, it's really mostly about a relationship with the Saudis and the petrodollar for the most part, but it's a really toxic relationship. In September, Representatives Ro Khanna, Democrat California, Tom Massey, Republican Kentucky Senator Mark Pocan, and Democrat from Wisconsin, and Walter Jones, a Republican, introduced a similar war powers resolution to try and force a vote on the U.S. support in the war in Yemen. Senior members of both parties, including Representative Steny Hoyer, Democrat from Maryland, the Democratic Minority Whip, initially opposed that effort. You win some, you lose some. Initially opposed, the Democratic Minority Whip initially opposed the effort, as The Intercept first reported in October. That was last year. So the measure also met stiffer resistance from the Saudi government, of course, which maintains one of the largest lobbying operations in Washington, Brownstein Hyatt Farber Sherback LLP, a lobbying firm initially hired by the Saudi government on a $100,000 a month retainer, while met with key lawmakers to influence the resolution. Elizabeth Gore, former senior Democratic staffer, now working at Brownstein Policy Director on the Saudi account, corresponded by mail on November 13th with representatives from the offices of Hoyer and Representative Elliot Engel, a Democrat from New York, the ranking member on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, to discuss the Khanna resolution. He's really turning into a good superstar, man. Rokana, man, I love him. He's like the Indian Bernie to me. Another Brownstein Hyatt lobbyist, Zachary S. Pfister, corresponded on the same day with the office of Representative Seth Moulton, a Democrat from Massachusetts, to discuss the resolution. The discussions were held on the same day. Congressional leaders secured a non-binding compromise resolution that no longer invoked the War Powers Act, but instead offered a resolution declaring the war in Yemen outside the scope of the fight against Al-Qaeda. So that's good. That's a positive. Disclosure of the correspondence was made to the Department of Justice, which tracks foreign lobbying under the authority of Foreign Agents Registration Act. The Saudi government has gone on a hiring spree in recent years, retaining the services of more than 145 lobbyists over the last 2 years, making it one of the biggest spenders on lobbying service, both foreign and domestic, which is pretty much the ones that dictate our foreign policy. We need to get rid of this relationship that we have with them. It's so toxic. It's fueling terrorism. Several lawmakers last year tried to use the National Defense Authorization Act, which sets the annual Defense Department budget, to bring a halt to the war. In-House Representatives Nick Nolan, Democrat from Minnesota, and Warren Davison, Republican for Ohio, offered amendments to the National Defense Authorization Act to influence the war on Yemen. Alfred Mutor, a prominent Democratic lobbyist with Brownstein Hyatt and a former fundraiser for the Hillary presidential campaign, disclosed that he helped Saudi Arabia influence the NDAA amendments. Representatives from Brownstein Hyatt and the McKean Group did not respond to requests for a comment. Of course not. Of course not. Just so it's very telling. I mean, obviously Trump's a steaming pile of garbage, but with Hillary, it only gets slightly less crappy. It's choosing from neoliberalism and neocon. I mean, now obviously Trump's part of the establishment. His whole cabinet's full of establishment. But it just shows you how they're all kind of in the same, 1% group. All part of the same club, Sad, really, but it's a great article, actually. To end this here, actually, representatives from Brownstein Hyatt and the McKean Group did not respond to requests for comment. Some Sanders-Lee resolution will likely produce a second wave of Saudi lobbying, but activists say the Saudi bombardment and controlled blockade of the international relief has made the resolution more urgent than ever. Yemeni activist Shireen Al-Adimi, in the statement to reporters, said that the Saudi coalition war can only end when the U.S. withdraws its support for the Saudis. So that basically says that we're not going to do basically much of anything until the U.S. ends the war with the Saudis. So when is that going to happen? I mean, unless we get an actual real progressive in office. No more government full of Hillary Clintons and Tim Kaines. So it's actually a really good article. It just shows you how kind of messed up that our government is. It's just how bought they are, but it's really telling. I mean, let's see what happens. Thank you, Bernie Sanders, for fighting the good fight. Rokana. Some of the other Democrats still give him some credit for that too. So. You deserve credit when credit is due.